Welcome back, my fellow mobile gamers of YouTube, to the first of these videos in 2021, and a special welcome to all the new subscribers who joined after watching my end of the year video. Now, I'm glad to have you all here today because I have 5 instead of the usual 3 games to share today, including the new League of Legends Wild Rift game, which we'll get to later on in this video. The other games in this episode are also really great though, and they include a fun cyberpunk-themed arcade racer, one of the best platforming action games I've played recently, a casual simulation game about destroying planets with freaking lasers, and a fun action game that mixes puzzle and dungeon crawling elements. So we've got lots of great stuff to dive into today, and let's just get started with Nameless Cat, which is a beautiful 2D action platforming game with a mysterious story, lots of interesting obstacles and enemies, and even boss battles that we must find a way to overcome without being able to attack them. Now, one of this game's most unique features is the ability to teleport to what looks like tombstones that are found throughout each level. This mechanism is used to avoid enemy attacks, travel distances that are too far to jump, and even used to teleport away from traps, creating a fun experience that feels fresh and also different from what most other action platformers offer. The peaceful soundtrack also perfectly fits the distinctive pixel art style, and it creates a truly calming and peculiar atmosphere that just makes the game a joy to explore, and that's obviously very important for these types of exploration-based adventure action platforming games. There isn't a whole lot of progression to the game though, but as we complete the 40+ handcrafted levels, we collect cans of cat food, which we can then use to buy new cosmetic cat skins. The game monetizes by showing occasional ads between deaths and then incentivized ads to activate some of the checkpoints. Both of these advertisements, by the way, can be removed through a $2.99 in-app purchase, and then you have multiple $1 in-app purchases to unlock additional premium cat skins. The game can be played offline, it takes up only 92 MB of space, and it's honestly a must-play if you're a fan of cute, challenging action platforming games. Flytron is a forward movement arcade racer where we control a flying car that is blasting through a cyberpunk-themed city full of neon lights, skyscrapers, and obstacles in both level-based and endless game modes. But unlike the many lane runners on mobile like Subway Surfers for example, the smooth controls of Flytron let us move freely up, down, left, and right to avoid obstacles, defeat bosses, and even pick up power-ups or gold. Combined with the futuristic soundtrack and the shiny art style, this makes for a truly unique mobile gameplay experience. Arguably, the game's most unique feature is just how customizable everything is though. Vehicles can be painted with different materials and colors, a custom game mode lets us heavily alter and control the gameplay experience, and the map editor even allows us to fully customize the colors used for buildings, windows, and more. All of these customizations cost gold, by the way, which is what we earn through gameplay. Monetization happens through occasional force stats that can be removed through a $1.99 in-app purchase, incentivized stats to revive or increase our gold rewards, and then a couple of in-app purchases for more gold used for customization and to unlock cars immediately. This monetization isn't heavily pushed though, and the game can easily be enjoyed as a free player. It can also be played offline, it takes up only 118 MB of space, and the best way I can summarize Flytron is that it's a runner that doesn't really feel like any other endless runner out there, and that's why I think it's worth checking out for arcade cyberpunk fans. Okay, so next up, and I can hardly say this without laughing, we've got a simulation game about destroying planets and even entire solar systems by altering the orbit of each planet until they collide, or by using a range of just these over-the-top crazy weapons from rockets and lasers to alien spaceships and Chultu-like creatures. The name of the game is Solar Smash, and it plays like a sandbox experience with full freedom and no overall objective or missions to complete. It is a fun experience for short periods of time, although it does also quickly grow repetitive due to just a general lack of gameplay modes, planets, and weapons. The controls are decent though, and the performance is alright, although explosions may sometimes cause a bit of lag even on high-end devices. Solar Smash monetizes through occasional forced advertisements and then a single $2.99 in-app purchase to remove these ads completely. You can play this game even when you're offline, it takes up only 128 MB of space, and while there isn't a whole lot to the game, it is worth considering checking out as a casual experience. Yokai Dungeon is a cute and simple arcade action game where we fight our way through endless randomly generated dungeons by pushing blocks and bushes into enemies to defeat them. Each dungeon floor consists of multiple rooms full of monsters and then a boss at the end, and while we're free to explore the dungeon in whichever order we prefer, we must defeat all monsters in every room we enter before we can proceed to the next one. And when we defeat a monster, it also drops gold that we then spend on unlocking cute new heroes with unique health, speed, and luck stats. Now, the controls are a bit wonky, and combat also gets slightly repetitive after a while, as our only offensive ability is to push blocks around. But apart from that, it is a fun mix of puzzle and dungeon dungeon crawling that works well as a casual game. Yokai Dungeon monetizes through frequent advertisements between dungeon rooms, which can be removed through a $2.99 in-app purchase and then additional in-app purchases to unlock new heroes faster. The game can be played offline, it takes up only 58 MB of space, and it's worth considering checking out if you like the idea of this weird mix of puzzle and dungeon crawling gameplay. And then for the one we've all been waiting for, League of Legends Wild Rift, which is obviously Riot Games' mobile version of the massively popular PC MOBA League of Legends. And most notably, the 5 vs 5 matchmaking is just incredibly fast in Wild Rift. It really just blew me away, and the fact that there are already 40 plus unique heroes in the game and that the graphics look great without actually overheating my phone even when playing for hours at a time was really just impressive. I'm happy to say that. I was a bit concerned about whether this game was going to be a game primarily just for the League of Legends fans, but this game can absolutely compete as a standalone MOBA as well. And I know there are plenty of MOBAs on mobile, but I gotta give it to Wild Rift. It also had the absolute best onboarding experience I've tried till date, jumping straight into the action instead of forcing us through lengthy tutorials, and this while still being mindful of explaining the core mechanics as you play your first couple of AI matches. Now, unlike some MOBAs on mobile and definitely all the MOBAs on PC, the combat is very nicely paced in Wild Rift, which means that each match takes just roughly 15 minutes, and that's just perfect for mobile. And the lack of annoying pop-ups with quests and login rewards and all that jazz is also a really welcome change, I might add. I really appreciated that. Just like the PC counterpart, the monetization is also very fair in Wild Rift. The heroes are well balanced, which means we can easily compete with the heroes that we get for free, while then purely cosmetic skins and additional heroes can be bought through in-app purchases. The game requires online access, it takes up 2.7 GB of space, and it is by far the most polished, fair, and just overall most promising MOBA I've played in years on mobile, so be sure to check it out if you enjoy that MOBA gameplay. And there you go, that was the first episode of the year, but I've got lots more mobile gaming goodness planned, so hope you'll subscribe, hit that notification bell, and leave a like if you enjoyed this video, because then, till next time, just keep gaming, stay awesome, and I'll see you guys around.